Namaste all. We are continuing with our Mundaka Upanishad mantras and their explanation. The brief explanation which will give interest to all of us to pursue for the in-depth study of the Upanishad, and it's not only this Upanishad, all the Upanishads which have very deep meanings of their own. So as usual, let me start with my prayers to the Guru Parampara. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrabhyo Vamsha Rishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashikritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavatyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Bhadram Karne Vishrunuyama Deva Bhadram Pashyema Kshabir Yajatraha Sthirairangai Tuštuvagum Sastanubihi Vyashema Deva Hitam Yadayuhu Swastina Indro Vriddashravaha Swastinah Pusha Vishwavedaha Swastinastaksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspati Dadatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. So we have seen that in the previous session last Friday that the effect of the Paravidya, because we all know that the whole Upanishad starts with Shaunaka asking Angirasam, Yasmin Bhagavo Vijñāte Sarvamidam Vijñādam Bhavati. Please teach me in which knowing does the knowing of everything exist. So for that which the master said, Dve Vidye Veditavye, he asserts that both has to be understood. What is para and what is apara? Now apara is all mundane education or mundane knowledge which we get, in the sense that other than the param purusha, the knowing or the way in which one can know the absolute, that alone is para. Rest of everything, including what is in the Vedas, Upanishad and the Angas, Vedangas and other our normal day-to-day learning which we learn from our experiences. Everything comes from that only. So having explained that, then he also explained why the karmas or the Vedic karmas which have been followed by those who are following the Vedas have very tricky situation where, the result of it are most of them are not immediately tangible. Most of them are after death. And whatever thus is even done for the Iha in this world, that also do not seem to be fructifying for all the people. There can be either some lacuna or not being done properly, not selecting the time and the space properly. There are so many conditions for those things which have to be performed. So those who have been doing this for eons or ages or many lives, they have come to a conclusion that Pariksha Lokan Karmachidan Brahmana Nirvedamayat Nastya Kritakritena. Those who have been doing Karmachidan means all those who have been following this karma. Pariksha, after having scrutinizing these karmas and their they have Nirvedamaya. They came to a detachment of that karma akritakritena, that what cannot be achieved by a action can never be, should be pursued by action, because knowledge is not an effect of karma. Knowledge is self-revealing. Its nature itself is to reveal itself. And no karma or na sadhanandaram, or means anything following that, can never give rise to knowledge. For knowledge, you need to do the Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, which is the main methods in which it is not an action. It is not an action by itself. The Shravana Manana Nididhyasana is removing the impediments for the knowledge to shine. So having that explained all those things in the previous pada, Manomaya Prana Sharira Neta Pratishto Anne Hridayam Samnidaya Tat Vijnanena Paripashyanti Veera Ananda Rupam Amrutam Yad Vivadi. Yad Vivadi, that which shines. In which form? Ananda Rupam Amrutam. It is the showing that the bliss of immortality. Dhiraha, Dhimantaha, the wise men, Paripashyanti, they realize it in their bosom. What? Tasya Vijnanena, Tad Vijnanena. By the knowledge of that, they realize that what we are searching for is of the nature of Ananda and immortal in nature. And on the knowledge, knowing of that, when that vivadi, that shining takes place, the Atma Prakasha or the Swaprakasha shines itself, then what happens is that Vidyade Hridaya Grandhi Chidyande Sarvasamshayaha Shiyande Chasya Karmani Tasmin Drishte Paravare. In the Paravare, the cause and effect, that Karmani, that is what is the nature of the karma, cause and effect. In that, they find that knowing this is Shiyande, Karmani Shiyande. All the actions and the karmas and karmapalas get nullified. And how does it do that? By removing sarva samshaya. All the doubts regarding the reality of the nature of things or reality of every atom in this world, including themselves. And that sarva samshaya, when it is removed, all the doubts when it is removed, what happens is that Hridaya Grandhi Vidya. Hridaya Grandhi, here it shows that it is a knot of the heart. The heart is entangled in the enjoyment of the sensual objects. And that knot which keeps the heart reveling back again and again in those sensual arguments, that gets broken up. It is finding something superior where it doesn't have to go for the up and down of that. That is why it is Amrutam and Brahmayon and Amrutam and Ananda Rupam. That Amrita Ananda Rupam is not which goes for wax and wane of nature. Whereas everything else by the Hridaya Grandhi is of the nature of ups and down, waxing and waning of that. Chidyande, and this is happening by the clarity or the destruction of all the doubts which we had till then about what the real nature of reality. Then the next mantra before concluding, before the last word, Hiranmaye Pare Koshe Virajam Brahma Nishkalam Tat Shubram Jyotisham Jyoti Tat Atmavido Viduhu. Atmavit, those who knew their own nature or their own reality, such a person is called Atmavit, and they knew Viduhu. That means the Upanishad itself is saying that when you know yourself, the knowledge with which you are made of, or the awareness which is your name, and Jyotisham Jyoti, that is the light of all light. That pure Shubram Nishkalam, and that is where the Brahma Vidu, in that purity of knowledge, because knowledge without object is a pure knowledge. And every knowledge with the objectified knowledge has the contamination of the object by its qualities, Nama, Rupa, and the adjectives or the Visheshanas or the specialities of the object. But knowledge by itself in purity of the knowledge, which is called the Jyotisham Tat Jyoti, in that the light of all lights, then the question can come, how does that light of all light, how can you say that? To explain that, only the next mantra says, Na tatra suryo badina chandra tarakam nema vidyado bhanti kutoyam agni Tameva bandham anubhati sarvam satyabhasa sarvamitam vibhati. That is the Jyotisham Jyoti what we are talking about. That light of light, all lights, in which the sun becomes sun, the moon becomes moon, the stars become stars, the lightning becomes light. Even the insignificant lights which we are seeing on the surface of the earth, they want to talk about them. Even they become known only in that knowledge. Sameva bandham anubhati sarvam. Only when that light of awareness shines on everything, everything else shines by itself. Their shining is there only when the Atma or the knowledge of the Suprakasha, that's the knowledge when shines on the sun becomes known. The knowledge when shines on the moon becomes known. Like that, everything. Sarvam idam vipadi. And idam means everything what you call it as other than the knowledge by itself, including our mind, body, intellect, the sarva, even that is known to us. It is shining in the knowledge. My mind is shining in my knowledge. I know my mind and my thoughts, my intellect and the thought process I know. My body, its vagaries I know. Everything is known in that. So, tasya vasa sarvamidam vibhati. In that light, everything else is shining. And to conclude that portion of the last this thing, Brahma eva is Amritam. That Brahma and that Amridatam, what we are talking about, Amritam and Amritam Ananda Rupam Yad Vibhati, that is Brahma eva. That is what is called the Brahman in English. If you want, when we say it in English, it is Brahman. Brahma eva Amritam. Purastad Brahma. In the front, what you see of you is Brahma. Paschat, what you is there behind you is Brahma. Dakshinata, Uttarata, so your left and your right. Adascha, in the bottom and the Urdhvam, and the top. That means there is no place where Brahma is not shining. Brahma eva vidam vishwamidam varishtam. This supreme Brahma, Varishtam Brahma, is the entire Vishwam, what we call it as the world of experiences. Without knowledge or awareness, the world itself doesn't exist. Therefore, the Vishwam Idam, the entire Prapancha or the entire cosmos or entire world of experiences is existing because Tasya Vasa, that knowledge of Brahman or knowledge which is there in everything. It is not that it is shining something outside. Its mere existence itself is the exhibition of its own existence of awareness and knowledge. I exist is my experience. My experience of I-ness is my existence, and I know that I exist by my existence. Same way, every atom in this world exists because it has an existence and awareness. Therefore, Brahma eva idam vishwam. This entire cosmos or entire world of experiences is nothing but that Brahma, which is nothing but Satchitanandam, Satyajnanamanandam Brahma. That is Varishtam, the supreme most. Now, having told all those things, we are taken back by the Rishi to where we started. Dve Vidye Veditavye. This Tritiya Mundakam is in the form of a Phalasruti. Even though some of the commentators, including Shankara, has taken it as an explanation of continuation of the last pada. But if you closely scrutinize that, it is giving us a different aspect of how a Jivan Mukta and how an ordinary person is to be seen by us, and what are the benefits of the person who has known this. Brahma Vida Vidu is what has been explained in the previous section. That how does he look, or how does he behave, or how is he appearing to ordinary people, like, when we see Ramana Maharshi or Nisargadatta Maharaj or Ramakrishna Paramahansa or any of those realized souls, we have a feeling of how can they be like that. We do not know what is the experience of that person who himself, we call it as a guru or a Atmavid. And from our point of view, how do we know him? To get a glimpse how this is in the world is the next mantra. Dvau Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya Samanam Vriksham Parishasva Jate Tayoranya Pippalam Swadatti Anasnan Anyo Apichakashiti. Now, Dva Suparna, it is comparing the one who is Atmavid and the one who is not Atmavid or ordinary Karmachita Loka. So, comparing between these two, the Upanishad says that there are two people, two Suparna, two birds, Sayuja Sakhaya, in the same, vicinity or in the same place. You can say as two children of the same parents or two human beings sitting side by side in the world of dim and the din and shore of the worldly life, or wherever you say, Samana Vriksham Parishvasya Jade. In the same Vriksham, here Vriksham can be taken as is the traditional commentators have taken Vriksham as Shariram, whereas we can see that Urdu Moolam Atashakam Ashwattam Prahuravyayam, that Kathopanishad mantra, which describes the world. In the same world, in the same branch, that means in the same human form. The branch can be taken as human form. Parishasva Jate, that is why when Parishasva Jate means clinging to the branch. That means clinging to the body. That means identifying with the physical body. What happens? Pippalam Swadatti. One of the two is enjoying the Atti means Ad Bhakshane. Atti means he is the one who is enjoying. Pippalam means here the relishing of the fruits of action, karma phalas. Pippalam has another meaning also, is like Maidhuna, the sensual organs also. So enjoyment in that is also can be called Pippalam. So one who is relishing in the physical sensual enjoyment is one. Tayor Anyaha. And the other one, by the same time, Anasnan, he is not eating anything. It means he is not engaging himself in the worldly matters. And he is Abhishakashiti, means he remains as a mere witness or an observer, looking upon what the other person who is so engrossed in eating or sensually enjoying in the world outside. This is the picture which is given. Now, if we look very closely, in the first pada or the first section, the teacher has said that Dve vidye veditavye paracha aparacha. Now here, the one who has learned para is the Anasnan Abhishakachiti, not at all involved in enjoyment of the world outside, because he has developed Parishalogan Karmachitan Brahmanan Nirvedamaya, the Nirvedatvam, or the detachment which he has developed. And he is the one who has seen that Vidyade Chidre Gandhi Shiyande Chasya Karmani Satmistishte Paravare. He has already seen beyond what is that limitation of the sensual enjoyments and what is his real nature. So he is no more identifying with the physical body, even though he is in the appearance of a physical body. That is why Suparna, Dvau Suparna. His body is the same as the other, but there is no difference. A Jivan Mukta or the ordinary person, if you see that there is no difference between the physical body. The thing is that one is due to his interest in the sensual organs or sensual enjoyment or the fruits of action of his karmas, he keeps in relishing in on that, while the other one is not engaged in any activity. He is just observer, abhishakashiti. He keeps observing the other one. Anasnan, he is neither interested in eating it or enjoying the fruits of the action, or even though he can share the fruits with others, he is not at all. Yadecha labha sandrushta, what the Gita says now. Whatever comes as by accident, he lives upon that. He has no interest in engaging himself in the karma and karma phalas and the enjoyment. So the two words are representing the two aspects of para and apara vidya students, or the one who have completed the study of that. The apara vidya one gets into the karma yoga and the karmas of the Vedas, and he goes in the cycle of birth and death for the karma and karma bala, whether he goes to Swargaloka, Brahmaloka and comes back. Whereas the one who followed the Paravidya, after having broken Vidyate Hridaya Grandhi and all those things, when he has done it, he has identified himself with that Suprakasha, Tasya Vasa Sarvamidam Vivadi. So he understood that that is my nature. So he is no more interested in anything else, because that light, Suprakashata, is shining in him always. Therefore, he becomes a mere witness to the things which is happening around him. Then the next mantra says, Samane vrikshe purusho nimagna anishaya shojati mukhyamana jushtam yada pasyatin anya amishamasya mahimanam iti vidashoka. Samane vrikshe purusha nimagna anishaya shojati mukhyamana jushtam yada pasyati anyam isham asya mahimanam iti vidashoka. What does it say? Samane vrikshe, in the same tree. Here Purusha doesn't mean that Brahman or the Uttama Purusha or the Supreme Purusha. He is just talking about that Purishayanat Purusha, one who is embodied. Nimagnaha, completely immersed. Anishaya, helplessly. Shochati, Muhyamana, deluded by the. When such a person, there are the Purusha here in the same tree or in the same world, one who is completely immersed helplessly and grieves when deluded because of the delusion, he gets again and that to the happiness and sorrow. He never knows that every happiness is accompanied by sorrow, or every sorrow will have a happiness. He is neither able to come out of the cycle of the activity and its fruits and results. Therefore, he is deluded. And because of the delusion, he is helpless. Yada pashyati, that person, when he sees the anyam, that one who is the other one, which is anasnan avishagasiti, without eating and looking upon him, he is as if jushtam, he is a paramatma or a jushtam here, even though the word meaning is paramatma, here you should take it as the supreme or the one who is superior to the one who is deluded, or where he is more having that self-control on. Why? Ishana. His name is Isham. Isham means the Lord of control. He is of all. He has a control on his own sense organs and his intellect and everything. Even though he is sitting in the Samana Vriksham, in the same din and door of the world, of the mundane world, where things are attractive or you are being forced into the rat race or anything, he having a superior mentality, control over his own indriyas and the intellect and all, and he knows the glory of his own nature. Pasya bhasa sarvamitam vivadi. He knows that nature. This is seen by the other person. Like we seeing a Brahmatjnani or a Guru, when he see and when he talks about him, we see that words which he conveys is of a conviction, and that experience is something which we cannot fathom when we see and listen to his words. So that one helpless and deluded by the shokas, when he sees this person in the same samana vriksham, in the same tree, and looking at the glory in which way he is not getting deluded, he is not getting sorrow, he is not getting happy, he is always in a state of tranquility. And he is Vida Shoka, because that person has no sorrows, whereas the one who is deluded by the changes or in the world and the phalam, pippalamatti, or in the eating of the sensual fruits of action, he is always in the shoka. Whereas this one who has anasnan abhishakashiti, he is an isham, he is a controller of his own, complete control. He is a master of his own. And therefore he is Vita Shoka. He has no sorrow of his own. He is always happy. Or Amritam, Anandam Amritam is the Swarupa. He has understood that is his nature. So he is seeing a higher glory in himself. Therefore he is not attracted by the worldly pleasures which have got a beginning and end. Anitya vastu. And therefore he is not at all getting involved. Seeing the nature of the other bird, the bird which is deluded, gets pashyati, when he sees that, he gets tempted and he follows that the other bird, how to become free from that. So here is an introduction to only the phalashruti, not only phalashruti or the fruit of studying that paravidya. It also tells us that even if we are today in a din and door of the world or mundane world, deeply immersed in all our sorrows and commitments and all other things, these harbingers or these lighthouses, which are the jnanis who are living among us in this world, they are the one who should be, attracting us and to see how they have achieved that. And to that, the next mantra says, Yada pasya pasyate rukmavarnam kartaramisham purusham brahmayoni tada vidwan punyapape viduya niranjanam paramam samyam upaiti. Yada pasya pasyate, when pasyate recognizes, Rukmavarnam here is that to show that his presence itself is eluding that knowledge or awareness, which is his nature. That is the Pasyaha, the Purusha who has seen his own nature, the knower who has known himself, seeing his Rukmavarnam, that knowledge which is coming out of him. This first, we are able to identify that he almost like Isham, the Kartaram, the controller, and Kartaram, who here is the Kartaram is not the doer of the mundane works. Here is the one who is the creator itself. Who is the creator? Here the Purusham is that Purusham which is beyond the Brahma Yoni. Even the creator has come from that. The creator, the Brahma, the Chaturmukha Brahma or the Hiranyagarbha who has come from the world, was the first Pradhamaja who has come and created everything. This person who has learned the Paravidya has identified himself, recognizes himself as that knowledge which is the knowledge there in the Hiranyagarbha and the Purusham from where that creator has come. So that is the way in which the mantra of the Upanishad says, Tad Vidwan, the wise, the one, Punya Pape Viduya, Niranjanaha, taintless, wiping out the Punya and Papa and the taints of karma, because karma leaves a taint on us, because karma is followed by karma phala. So karma is creating a vasana, and the vasana is leading us to do the karma phala chasing. So that is the taint which is saying, but Niranjana is the one which is without that. Paramam Samyam Upaisi, he attains the unity. This one who has now seen that the beauty of the other bird who is sitting there in the same world. He follows him, he understands he also follows the Paravidya and thereby attains the oneness with the same person. That means here it is the Paravidya who has found and Jivan Mukta. He becomes a attracting bird because of his shining nature of his knowledge which comes out of his expressions. All are getting attracted to such. So we all know that. But how, we are all, getting around Mahatmas and get attracted towards them. Their words are the one. That is what is called the Rukma Varnam here. The golden colored means the golden words of the Mahatma or the Jivan Mukta. When he takes, by just listening to that, one can wipe out the Punya and Papa and can become taintless because you will stop identifying yourself with the limited individuality and thereby we will be attracted towards that knowledge which is eluding from the Brahmajnani or the Jivan Mukta. And then Prano hi esha yah sarvabhutai vibhati vijanan vidwan bhavate na ativadi atmakrida atmarati kriyavan yesha brahmavidam varishta. Now, atmakrida atmarati kriyavan yesha brahmavidam varishta. What does this say there? Atmakrida. To play, you need something other than yourself. But this one who has studied the Paravidya and who has identified himself as his nature is Atma and Sarvam Khalidam Brahma, everything he sees, everything is in himself as himself. Even though he is engaging in the world, he doesn't engage with the differentiality of the mind that I am engaging with the world outside. He is engaging Atma Kridavat, that he is playing with himself. Atmarati, he is engaging with himself. Not only he engages with the world outside as himself, he also plays or enjoys being in the world outside because he do not see that anything is separate from him. Atma Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, everything is I am. That is the nature of the person who is Atma Krida, Atmarati. And even though he is engaged in his actions, Esha Brahma Vidam Varishta, he still remains, he is the one who realized and the supreme one realized because he cannot be dethroned from the state of everything. The dethroning can come only when he thinks that there is something lower than him. There is nothing higher. Purastat, Paschat, Dakshinata, Uttarata, Urdhvam, Purva. All the places he is seeing himself only. Left, right, forward, backward, upar, niche, all those places other than himself, there is nothing else. So for such a person, there cannot be a fall from that status. Therefore, he is Brahma Vidyam Varishta. He is the supreme most or the topmost of the one who has identified himself. How does he does that? Prana, Brahman, Eshaha, he is the Brahman who Sarvabhudai and all the Buddha Vibhati. That is the one which is making him Brahma Vidyam Varishta. He is Sarvabhudai Vibhati. He is seeing that how I am knowing myself, every object which is expressing itself is the same knowledge which I call it as a different object is no more a different object. Only by the name and form it may be having a different name and form. The reality of that substance is nothing but the same existence which I say I exist. And I know is that the same expression by any object which by expressing itself when it is showing its existence. I am showing my existence and my awareness to the world outside is the same way the world also showing the existence and awareness to myself. So therefore, Prana, the Brahma, he is the Brahman who has identified with Sarvabhudai Vibhadi as the one which is in the every object as knowledge or awareness shining himself. Knowing that Vidwan Vijanan Bhavate na adivati. Now this word Adivadi is a very, very apt word for a Brahmavid. Ativada, Vadi means who speaks a lot. Ativadi means who talks too much about himself, or he has so much to talk. But the one who has known the truth, he becomes Midavadi. He speaks only little and what is required only. He never talks more than what is. That's why most of the time we will see such people are silent and they don't talk much outside to the world. If a question is asked, they will answer to that question. And beyond that, they have nothing more to say. Because they are seeing themselves in everything. The person who has asked is temporarily asking a question because from his ignorance point of view. But he knows that ignorance is because he has not thought about himself, his real nature. So he explains to, as a guru and a shishya, he can explain that. But he never does the adivadam, which is the case with most of the people who want to tom-tom about their own success and glory. He is the glory of the everything. Mahimanam. His glory is beyond words and comprehension. Yet he doesn't tom-tom about it. He has nothing more to talk because to whom he is going to talk? He is Sarva Bhutai, Vibhadi. He himself is shining in everything. So to whom can he tom-tom about his experiences? He can't talk anything because he knows that is the experience of every person or every object in front of him. It is there in them, so why should I tell it to them? So he doesn't talk much. Therefore, he is na adivadi. He is not a one who speaks, not eloquent or not talks too much. There is a beautiful mantra in the Chandogya Upanishad, which is almost similar in nature. What does it say? This is the dialogue between Narada and Sanat Kumara. So here he says that is the second mantra of the Saptama Adhyaya, where the Narada Samvada. Athata Atmadeshe etatmaivada parastat uparishtat atmadaha paschadatma purastadatma dakshinadatma uttaradatma atmevegam sarvam iti saha va yesha eva pashyanneva manvanam eva vijanan atmarati atmakrida atmamidhunaha atmananda saswarad bhavati tasya sarveshu lokeshu karmajaro bhavati ataye na anyatha viduran na vijnanan naste kshepye loke bhavanti yesha sarveshu lokeshu kamacharo bhavati. What does that mantra say? Then Atma Desha, he is the Desha of Atma. He is in the world of Atma. Himself is availed in the body. Then he is saying the same mantra which we saw it in the last pada. Paschādatma, Purastadatma, Dakshinadaatma, Atma, Uttarada, Atma, Vegam, Sarvam. He sees Atma everywhere. Therefore, Sarvam iti Sava Yesha Evam, Pashyanneva. Whatever he sees is Atman. Manvananeva, what he thinks is Atman. Vijanan, whatever he thinks is also Atma. Therefore, Atmarati, Atmakrida, Atmamithuna, Atmananda. What is, all activities are in Atma. There is nothing other than that. He is relishing himself, he is playing with himself, he is engaging with himself, and he is in the absolute happiness of his own. Therefore, Saswarad Bhavati. He becomes the king of kings because the whole world is his. That's because everything is his. There is no everything other than him. So he is in a world, or he becomes the Raja for himself. Swarat means Raja. So Swaraja means he becomes a king of himself where everything is he himself. Tasya sarveshu lokeshu kamacharo bhavati. For him there is nothing which cannot be desired, nothing which can never be achieved because he is everything. So he has no desire. He is the desire, he is the desiring, he becomes the desired one, the desiring one and the desired one. There is no difference. So there is no, therefore kamacharo bhavati. Therefore sarveshu lokeshu karmacharo bhavati. So there is this in all the realms of experience, whether it is through the eyes, ears, or sarva lokeshu here means through every sense organ, what he enjoys is himself. His own nature is what he is seeing himself. Therefore, he is the Swarat, he is the king of himself. There is nobody else other than him who can challenge him. He becomes a Samrat. So, then that is why he is called a Brahma Vidyam Varishta. He is the supreme most. Then in the fifth mantra, this Upanishad, coming back to our Upanishad, what it says, Satyena labhya tapasahi esha atma samyak jnanena brahmacharyena nityam andasharire jyotirmayo hi shubram yam pashyanti yatahya shina doshaha. Now he is telling here, how did the other bird, which was engaged in so much in the sensual enjoyment and everything, after having come contact with the one who is Abhishakachiti, Anasnan, how did he achieve that for himself? So both becomes unified in one. So before that, how did he do is being explained in this mantra. Satyena, by truthfulness. Satyena labhya. This can be achieved only by following what is truth. Here truth means yat na vyabhacharati tat satyam. That one which is changeless is only one which is truth. Anything which can change is not a truth, because truth can never change itself. So satyena labhya means by following what is changeless in the ever-changing world. What is that which you can follow as a truth in the ever-changing world? Objects have name and form. The change can happen in the name and form, space, time, and causation. All those things can change, but there is something which is unchangeable in all changes, the substratum in which they appear. The waves can change many times, but the ocean doesn't change. Same way, the name and form is appearing from that substratum in which the objects are exhibiting the quality of the substratum, which is what? Existence and awareness. It is showing the existence of the substratum, and it is showing its own existence by way of awareness, or its existence itself is the awareness by which everyone will know its existence. And this is not the nature of the nama and rupa, or the name and form of an object, because name and form are changing. So that is they are untrue. The name and form are untrue. The truth in them is the existence and awareness. So one who follows the satya, for him, he will get labhyaha, he attains that in the name and form he sees the existence and the awareness of the objects. Tapasa hi esha atma. So tapas means here concentration of the mind. When this is being told by the Upanishad or the teacher, you have to have a certain methodology with which we can see the analysis. If you are looking for the changes, you are not looking at the changeless which is in the substratum. Whatever may be the substratum in which they are saying, unless you start looking at the substratum by tapas, by the austerity or the concentration of the mind, we cannot see the Atma. Atma means Swarupa. Swarupa is what? The existence and awareness in every object. Samyak jnanena, by clear understanding. This Atma jnanam is Samyak jnanam. There is no difference. Our own nature is what is our own nature? Aham asmi, aham badi. I know I exist, and that knowledge of knowing that I exist is the shining of that thing. So that knowing of my existence and my own knowing is what is called a Samyak Jnana. It is not the name I occupy, nor the body, nor the mind, nor the intellect, nor the sense organs, or the world outside, or the property, family, or wealth, or anything. They are all asatyam, because they are all changing. What is unchangeable in me is my own existence and my own awareness as who I am. Same is the case with every object in the world outside. So, the Sadmyajnanena Atma, and then he says Brahmacharyena Nityam. Brahmacharya here is austerities, because you have to be after that knowledge of Brahman, which is there in every object also. So, Brahmani Charati, into the reveling of that existence awareness in every object. That is what is called the Brahmacharya. And this can be done only by austerity. If you are getting attracted by the name and form and the enjoyment of the name and form or the changes in them, you are not going to attain the existence and awareness of the object. It is just like you are surfing on the wave, but you are not enjoying the beauty and the depth of the ocean. These waves are not permanent. Some waves can give you a ride, some waves cannot give you a ride. So when it is giving ride, you may enjoy. When it is not giving a ride, you may be sorrowful. So it is not permanent. So the one which is permanent is the ocean. The beauty and the depth of the ocean, or the beauty and depth of the knowledge of the existence, is what is the thing. And how is it? Jyotirmayohi Shubhraha. And indeed it is in the form of pure brilliance. Pure brilliance means there is not a taint of darkness or a contamination in it. That is the purity of knowledge. When you know anything, if you are not having the doubt or a misconception, or if you have understood it, the knowledge is no more a knowledge of an object. You become the knower and the knowing. The knowing, becoming the knowing, is the Jyoti. Then that is why it's called Jyotirmaya. Maya, Mayat, Pratyaya is when there is nothing other than that. When, Swarnamayam, when we say it is not 99.9999, even that 0.00041 is not there. It's 100%. That is Prachuryate Mayat Pratyaya. So Jyotirmaya means in that brilliance, pure brilliance, what is exhibited by every object or every experience or every knowing is nothing but that purity of awareness. That is called the Jyotirmaya. Yataha, one who has done. Yatanam means by practicing. Yatanam means to yajnam, from the word comes from that. So one who with repeated Sravana Manana Nididhyasanam, after pure seeking, by Kshina Dosha, by removing, what is the Kshina Dosha's impurities here? The impurity says, Ajnanam, you have no knowledge about what is to be searched for, or what is you are to look for. Viparyayam is Viparita Jnanam. What you see, that if you see an object, if you are getting carried away by the beauty of the object and the name and form, but do not see the substratum or the reality of the existence and awareness of the object, then you are thinking that object is the name and form and the color and the adjectives of the object. That is called Viparyaya. Samshaya Viparyayam Ajnana, and doubt, Samshayam. Samshayam is what? You are not sure that is existing or not, or if there is anything called existence and awareness. I am only able to see the name and form and the enjoyment of the object. What are you talking about the existence and awareness? I am not aware. You have got a doubt whether what is being told by the teacher or the Upanishad, is it right or wrong. So there are people who do not take the Upanishad as thing. They are the people who think that they're all archaic and old and there is no relevance to today. This is thousands of years old. Some songs written by in Sanskrit, which today nobody is using that language. Where can we apply for it? So there is samshayam in those people's mind that whether this is useful or not. So those are the people who are saying that what is all called the Kshina or the doshas. And Kshina dosha is that Kshayam of these doshas, means the complete annihilation of these doshas when by yatahaya, by yajna, or by the pure seeking aspect, they see this reality of Samyak Jnanam, which is there, which is the experience of that one bird or that yati or the one who has been sitting without enjoyment in the world outside. And he say, na ativati. He's not a one who speaks a lot. He just speaks what is required only, mitavati. And he is an atmarati, atmakrida, who enjoys everything in himself. He doesn't see anything other than even the person. That is why they are also compassionate in nature, because they see themselves in everyone. Sarva Bhuta Hidayarata is the word used by the Bhagavad Gita. Sarva Bhuta means every creation, their hitam, the benefit of them or the betterment of them, and riding for the betterment of every created object in the world is the nature of such people who are full of empathy, love, and karuna. And that is the nature of those people. Therefore, they don't talk much. It is eluding from them. Their presence itself will give a tranquility and peace of mind for all of us. That is the person who is the one who is sitting in the two trees, one of them. The other one who sees that, understands the need of that, and starts working for that. And here it is. Now we'll stop here. The next 5 verses are equally important, starting with Satyameva Jayate. So, which is a very well-known part of the mantra, which is used everywhere. We'll do that in the Friday session. Thank you. We'll stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Dhanyavada. Namaskara.